Alright, so what are some of the ecological or biological roles of organisms on the planet? Well, you can break them down into two major sections. You can have the producers, the animals that are transforming that energy that is outside of chemicals, so going from like a chemical energy to, or a solar energy to a chemical energy, or this kind of chemical to a more usable chemical by other animals. And then you have your consumers, those things that eat the producers or eat other consumers. Looking at some of these consumers, the first one would be a predator. A predator is going to be any organism that kills or partially or entirely consumes another individual. Here we have an adorable little jumping spider found in Oklahoma. This was a picture by Thomas Shahan. He has some really cool stuff. Then you have a parasitoid. So parasitoids are a little bit different from parasites. So the parasitoid inserts the offspring or the egg into an animal, and then the offspring eats that animal as it grows. Like in this tarantula hawk, where it'll deposit eggs in the tarantula, and then those larvae will eat that tarantula as they grow and develop into a tarantula hawk. Another example is mud daubers. Mud daubers also like to collect spiders to put in their little mud daubs for their babies to eat. A lot of wasps are parasitoids, and they're really cool, bizarre life cycles in them. Then you have a parasite. That's going to be an organism that lives in but rarely kills its host. But you can have some parasites that are pathogens. So they might not kill a host, but they can make the host sick or cause a disease. Here where you can see a human hookworm where it has burrowed through this person's foot and is going up. Hookworms make their way to the lungs where they're coughed up and then swallowed and then live in your intestines and shed the eggs out in your feces. They used to be a big problem in the southern United States before outhouses were really popular. People be running around barefoot, and the hookworms sense the heat and like wiggle out of the earth and then into the foot. They're really cool and disgusting. Alright, then we get to your herbivores. So these are the ones that are consuming the producers, like koalas, caterpillars, tapirs, manatees, lots of cool and different types of herbivores out there. And then we get the ones that clean house for us. You have scavengers that consume dead animals, like this fly here. Detrivores feed on dead organic matter, kind of like these mushrooms. They're also decomposers, breaking down that material into simpler elements that then can be used or recycled through the ecosystem. So these are really big roles. When you think of scavengers, you might think of stuff like vultures too, like larger animals can also scavenge. So breaking this kind of down into species interactions, you have your predators where one species wins, one loses. Same with your parasitoids. Same with parasitism. So one is benefiting, one is not. Herbivory, same thing. So the plant eater is okay, the plant is not. Competition. Competition is when you have two organisms competing for a resource. And competition is negative on both sides. It takes energy. You could get damaged. There's a lot of stuff that goes on. But neither side wins with competition, which is the opposite of mutualism, where two organisms work together, like legumes and rhizoids. So the fungus that is associated with legumes and how they help to cycle the nitrogen that the legume needs, and the legume helps to bring in the resources that the fungus need. And so they work together and they both benefit. Commensal is where one benefits and one doesn't. So there's no change on the other individual with the commensal getting a benefit. Maybe an example of this would be like pinworms. So pinworms live in the lower rectum where they feed off of feces as it passes through. But other than that, there's really no change to the human, except maybe an itchy butthole when they come to lay their eggs. But on the whole, it's kind of like a commensal. There's not much negative impact. Speaking of pinworms and where they live, we can move on to habitat. So habitat is going to the place, the physical setting where that organism lives. And there's a bunch of different types of habitats, like deserts and whatever that is, savannas, forests, highlands, like all kinds of stuff, right? Lots of different places on Earth where organisms can live. And then you get the niche, so, or the niche, however you want to pronounce it. This is going to be the abiotic and biotic conditions that the organism can tolerate. This is a really, really broad statement to cover niche. When I was learning this, so many years ago, we kind of said the niche is like the role of the organism in that environment. So what are they doing? But the book takes it really broad. It's like, what is the range that they can tolerate? And so it is going to be like, what food is there? What structures are there? What type of sediments are there? What type of whatevers are there? What kind of climate it is? And so the niche brings that all in, not just the physical location. It is all the things that this organism needs to live, not just that location. So, how do sources of energy acquired by plants, animals, and fungi differ? The fungi are going to be decomposing a lot of the stuff. All your animals are going to be consumers. Your plants are going to be producers, right? So, solar-powered, plant-powered, and then powered by death. Give or take, right? What are the major types of species interactions? So you have mutualisms, you have competition, you have commensals, and then you have the predators, your parasites, your parasitoids. All right. And then we will pick up talking about the scientific method next time.